think that'll be us. Nearly. So we are on 8:30. I'm not going to take any longer because I want to get as much out of this training as possible. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah? Nods of the head? Yeah, perfect. So for those that don't know me, my name is Shelley Marshall. I have got the pleasure of taking this call this evening. I'm not going to tell you too much about my story because the main person we're here to listen to is Alex, and I know I've got a load of questions for him. I don't want to put too much pressure on him with time. So hi Alex, how are you doing?
Hi, really good, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming on. So there's a lot of new people on this call tonight, so a lot of people might not even know who you are. So obviously, to start off with, if you just want to give us a little introduction about yourself and who you are.
Yeah, of course. Hi, my name's Alex. I'm from Leicester. And for those of you that don't know my story, and are not too familiar with how I get involved, hopefully this will help you a little bit. And the reason that I kind of got involved was through my wife. A lot of you on the call, I would imagine, has heard of her before. It's Emma Carpenter. She got introduced on the same week that we actually got together. So I've been kind of involved as long as she has, but in for the majority of the time as a partner, as a now husband. And we met through me having a traditional business back then. So I was actually a salon owner. I had a barber's on the high street in Leicester, and she at the time had a teeth whitening franchise, and she used to go up and down the country visiting salons and looking for salons to do her teeth whitening from. She found myself and got in touch. That's how we met. She came into the salon and kind of hit it off straight away. And as I say, it was really interesting that she actually found Nu Skin that same week. So yeah, that's kind of how I got involved. You know, from meeting Emma, essentially.
Good. So obviously, what was your first impression of Nu Skin when Emma came to you and says, "I'm starting this other business"? How obviously you just met her, so she was already doing it as such. So what was your first impression when you got a look at the business?
Yeah. Obviously, she was brand new as well, so you know she didn't do a lot. But the first ever meeting that she ever did, she invited me to. So that was actually at her mom's house down in Northampton, and Daniel Norell had actually got the train up or down. I'm not sure if he was with Catherine in Scotland or whether he'd come up from London from being with Rick, but he was there in Emma's mum's living room doing this galvanic spa demonstration with some ladies lying on the couch in her lounge. And I'd never seen anything like it before. And he was obviously explaining the business side to me, explaining the product side to me. And yeah, to be honest, at that particular point for me, I had no sort of interest whatsoever. I'd never ever heard of network marketing before, let alone Nu Skin. So yeah, very, very different in terms of you know what he was demonstrating, what he was talking about, a completely different way of working. And because I was, you know, a traditional business owner at that point, I was, you know, I genuinely wasn't interested whatsoever. So I kind of never really took it, you know, had a second thought about it until Emma started to progress more in the business herself.
So that really is leading on to the next question. What did change for you? Obviously a traditional business owner, I'm the same, completely different. What changed for you? What made that change for you to start going, I think I'm going to have a look at this?
Yeah, so the first year, again, me and Emma got together pretty quickly, to be honest with you. So again, if you're talking about first impressions, Catherine had told her if she was serious about the business, then she had to be at the European convention, which we now know, you know, of as being in Marbella, but at the time it was actually Barcelona. So within 3 months, Emma was telling me that she was going to this. She wanted me to come along with her. And for me, it was, you know, we were just having a little holiday together. So, of course, I said yes, and we flew out there. And, you know, she sat in, and I can just remember seeing these, you know, hundreds and hundreds of people coming out of this complex, all with the same like lanyards on. And I was just sat there, you know, having a beer on the side, just watching, just people watching, thinking, these guys are crazy. Absolutely, just completely different to anything that I'd ever, like I said before, come across, seen, heard about, and I had no understanding or concept of it then either. So, you know, that was just me from the outside looking in, just thinking, I don't know who these people are, but they are, you know, they're definitely not on the same page that I'm on. So, and yeah, that was my first impression of an event, if you like. And it took a while for me to change my mind on the business, because it's no secret that the first year, including that trip to Barcelona, that was probably the only commitment that Emma made to the business actually in that first year. So I had no reason to really take notice of what she was doing, because she wasn't doing a great deal herself. You know, she definitely wasn't being coachable and, you know, listening to our uplines and putting into action everything that they were telling them. So it was quite a while for me to actually become, you know, really aware and really get the whole, you know, business as such. And that actually happened on the first success trip that she qualified for. So yeah, that was, you know, she obviously made it to Ruby, made it onto the success trip, which was Marrakesh, that was Morocco. And it was only there for me. I was still the skeptical one. I was still thinking that we were going to be, you know, having to pay for this trip one way or another. I knew obviously the flights were paid for. We were told the accommodation was paid for. I was still a little bit dubious about that. I still changed some money, and I still took some cards. Because I just wasn't believing that, you know, this 5-star, unbelievable, amazing, you know, experience was all going to be paid for by Nu Skin. I just didn't believe it. So the long and short of it, what really changed my mind was getting onto that trip, and I think she knew that as well. By that point, she'd obviously, you know, committed to the business to reach that point, and she did that quite quickly, you know, to qualify for that trip. But it was still, I was concentrating on my business as I knew it, and that's what I saw for our future as a family. So that, you know, that's what I was really putting my time and effort into. And this was just a little sideline thing that Emma was doing as far as I was concerned. Until obviously we got onto that trip. And the only reason I say that, you know, for me, it wasn't the luxury of the hotel we were staying in, the excursions they put on, which, you know, everything was above and beyond what I was expecting. But it was in the time here in the stories, and for me, I was sat on a table with like corporate people from the, you know, people that had flown in from America, that were from the European offices, that had been in the business a long time, seeing people get recognized for being in the business for, you know, 10, 15, 20 years, which really opened my mind and kind of got me to really think, okay, yeah, this is a big, serious operation.
Because it is business people, and that's the traditional business owner looks at it, that like you're saying, you were looking at it as like a side hobby, but it is for every business person that's got a business mind. It's the best way to do business, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. It's obviously different, isn't it? It's very different, and you don't know what you don't know, is what I kind of always say. So unless you're kind of going to be open enough to at least have a look and you know, take on board what you're being told, and then off the back of that, for me, it was then, because I was that bit more open, I was then open to going to more events and sitting in and listening to things, and whereas before I was, you know, a flat no. Emma had asked me to, you know, to do things without, you know, I just wouldn't. You know, I wouldn't be interested, but slowly but surely my engagement was growing. And that is it. And I think a lot of women in particular, it's getting their husbands to the event. And the first thing, like my husband, get him on a success trip. He goes there and he's like, right, get your next one, because you just see what you're doing. Definitely. And that's the biggest, probably one of the biggest tips. I think a lot of women say that with their husbands coming into the business or looking at the business, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I have it to be honest with you now with my team as well. You know, my team is all women as well. Let me just say as well. So I don't actually have a male in my team either. I have done, but not. You know, I've had a couple that have come and gone. But yeah, one of their biggest struggles is the partner, is the husband that may see them, you know, putting in the time and effort, or maybe not so, and therefore not progressing. And it's almost taken away, obviously, from what they see as their, family time or whatever it is. It's a fine balance, and it's certainly challenging. But all challenges can be overcome.
Totally, definitely. And that is the biggest thing here, is when you are spending time on your business, spend time on your business, so that you're giving your partners nothing to feel like that about, and they're seeing the progression in it. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of, I guess, setting some boundaries or some ground rules, or kind of walking the talk a little bit as well. It's exactly what Emma did to me in the instance when she had that first full year of doing nothing, and I took zero interest because she was doing nothing, to then going to a big event in London in the January and saying, right, I'm going to get on the next success trip. I know what I'm doing now. I know what I've not been doing. More importantly, give me 3 months. Give me 3 months of truly working at this business. It will mean me not seeing very much of you, or it's going to be long hours, or whatever it is, whatever the sacrifice takes. And if you've not seen a difference, then we can talk about it again then. That's kind of like how she approached it with me. And of course, I supported her with that.
Definitely. So you've gave up your traditional businesses. You gave them up when was that? Maybe
2017. Yeah. So just going back to my story a little bit, touching on that. So when I obviously had the barbers at the time, and then I kind of built that to a level where I had a manager in place, had the staff in place. It was, primarily running itself. So I was actually, ironically, I was looking at other options as well, and opportunities at the same time. So I was actually just about to open a bar, which was actually next door to the barbers. So the premises became available. It was something that I was interested in. Had a bit of background experience in the trade as well. So the back end of 2014, I actually opened a bar as well. And as I say, at that point, I had 2 traditional businesses then, both of which I've started kind of from scratch. But that was really in the very early stages of launching, just when Emma was kind of like that was the year that she kind of got serious as well. So yeah, it was interesting times.
And then you gave, when did you, so 2017, you basically decided, right, or you still got the businesses, or you gave the businesses?
No, yeah. So so then Emma's business obviously started to take off, to a level that was, the 2 businesses that I started are still very successful today. I sold them both. They're both still trading. Both got a lot of employees still in there, but yeah, it was, for me, it was just as things were taking off for Emma, it was just when we had Jensen as well, so our firstborn, and it just it just opens your mind to what you really want in life, and freedom was the number one thing, and in terms of us having a baby then, was just not missing anything, being able to be at home every day. So these were the kind of conversations that we were having. It was still early days in terms of thinking about things long term. Like it's a big deal thinking about selling your businesses or doing something like that. But the more things were going in the direction they were with Nu Skin, the less difficult the decision was for me, actually, because you know, we actually worked it out. The first year that we had Jensen, we actually did over 50 flights with him around the world. So yeah, we were kind of building business, and at that point I was obviously a lot more involved with helping her as much as possible, whether that be on the business side or with Jensen, freeing up her time. But we were flying around kind of here, there and everywhere doing business, but also we always made sure we had pleasure involved with it as well. So for us, it was always about the experience. So yeah, we might be doing some business somewhere, but then we'd always have an extra few days that would make into a holiday for ourselves as a family.
It's definitely the best way to do business.
Pardon?
Definitely the best way to do business. You wouldn't have had time for traditional business. No,
exactly. So, but at that point I was still getting a phone call. So although I was kind of away from the business, as a business owner, still I was still, I had still had that responsibility of the phone going wherever we might be, various things that happen. I won't bore you with the details, but you can imagine. You just never escape it. So I made the decision to sell them both, and actually managed to finalise them both on the same date, 31st of August 2017. So I managed to cut all ties completely with both of them then.
Brilliant.
Which then led me into, unbeknown to me, because it wasn't my reason for doing it, actually deciding to join it myself, because the main reason was just to be more of a help at home and a help with Emma. But then I kind of had a bit of a realization moment whereby I almost felt a little bit like I would be doing an injustice if I didn't pay this forward myself, knowing how much it's changed our lives completely. For me, it's just helping again as many people as possible, so that they can, they've got the chance at least to realize their dreams too.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a husband coming in probably helped the majority of Nu Skin in the UK anyway, because as I say, it's predominantly women, and a lot of women get hassle for their husbands. But actually seeing your story is inspired. I watch your story every day. I love watching the life that you have created, and it's really inspiring to me. The exact same for my husband, the fact he's coming into it. So it's really, really inspiring to see. So in your day, you're clearly with your children all day, every day now, that only not a lot of men have got the luxury of doing. So absolutely amazing. So what does your day look like for the kids? When do you work? Obviously manic all day, but how do you fit in your business with the kids?
Which part is that? Being a teacher or
being mediator, teacher?
Obviously, everything is funny because with this whole lockdown situation, it's for us it's not actually been that much different, because we are at home every day with each other. The main difference is obviously the kids being off school, and we have been having to do the homeschooling as well, but from a day-to-day thing, we're kind of always at home anyway. So our days are always, first and foremost is always the kids. So whatever's going on with the kids, that's the priority for us. So all our attention is kind of with them when we're with them. And then for us business wise, it just always comes in the evenings. So we really don't watch TV. I think I don't want this to come across in the wrong way at all, but I think we've maybe got about 5 TVs around the house, something like that, and it's a bit of a crime really, because I think they're very rarely on. Apart from I'm into my football, so if there's a football match on that I want to watch, I get to watch that. But business comes in the evening, and that's something that we've kind of always done, and for obviously a number of years now. So when you can get little pockets to maybe catch up on some messages during the day, if the kids now, ours are at the age where they'll sit down by themselves and have their lunch or have their dinner, you can probably squeeze another sort of 30 minutes in there, whilst they're doing that. But in terms of business building, then yeah, we generally just work in the evenings.
At night time.
Yeah.
So there's obviously challenges in business. What's been your biggest challenge so far since you took on your business in your own right, and how did you deal with it? What advice can you give people? What is your biggest?
It's probably for me, it's probably wanting it for somebody else more than they want it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see it a lot, and it's frustrating because obviously, you know, we're very privileged. We feel very privileged to, you know, to kind of be in the position that we're in, you know, where the business has been built to with Nu Skin. And you kind of almost want to shake people sometimes, like, especially when you can actually see that they're doing what they need to be doing, and then maybe they'll just miss a few days, or then they'll maybe go missing for a couple of weeks, or they're not doing what they should be doing. But you've got glimpses of potential there. Yeah, for me, it's it's kind of that's for me, that's a challenge, and then it's kind of working with them to overcome that by, you know, again reiterating, you know, where this business can take you. What are your goals? What do you actually want for it? Are you happy, like, in whatever it is you're doing? Generally, the answer will be no, because that's why they've signed up anyway. Mm-hmm. So then you've got to kind of like work back with them to, you know, kind of like restart and make them think about why they actually joined in the first place. Yeah. And get a bit of continuity going, a bit of consistency. Maybe make the goals a bit smaller for them so that they can actually achieve it and feel that feeling of achieving their goal, and then look to progress them and push them on a bit further.
Yeah, it's seeing what people's potential. You see it more than they see it themselves. It's a total cliche, but it's totally true, and that can be a big challenge in the business, definitely. So moving on, it's no secret that personal development's huge for Emma. Are you the same? Did it take her a while to get you into it? Are you right on it, or how are you with personal development?
I'll be completely honest with you, and you know, there's no way that I'd sit here and say anything other. It's not something that I do. It's not something that I do, and that's just because I've never been one. I've stood up on stage and said this as well. I've never been one for reading books. I don't know why. It's just something that just doesn't appeal to me, and I've still tried it, and I still don't now. But the caveat I'll put in is that I obviously know exactly the power of personal development and how important it is in this business. So every single person that, you know, I introduce, speak to, have on my team, I know inside out what Emma does every single day, because I watch it, I see it, and she's, you know, like I say, we've been together 7.5 years now, and you know, she practices what she preaches. It's you know, it's absolutely huge to her. So I know, you know, I could list off some books and I could tell you, you know, everything to do. I can tell you all the right things, but I'll be honest with you, it's not something that I actually do myself, just because it's, for whatever reason, and we're, you know, everybody's different, and I feel like I don't know, I'm a very kind of like level person. My emotions don't get too high and they don't get too low. I'm pretty stable anyway. So for me, it's just something that I don't feel like I've ever needed or felt the need to get into any detail.
I suppose having Emma there doing it, it's a byproduct anyway. That is what will happen. Of course.
Yeah. I'm still absorbing it, and I still understand the power of it, and I know it's massively important for, you know, again, for anyone listening on this call, please don't take on board, you know, and follow what I'm telling you in terms of that side of things.
Listen to your personal development.
Listen to your uplines and listen to your mentors, and that goes for, you know, for everything. You always have to do that. I've just come on here to just give you a bit of experience from my side, but I'll be honest with it as well.
No, definitely. You seen Dave Hollis? Just to stop you there though, with Dave Hollis and Rachel Hollis, they've got a really good, where he was totally not on personal development, and he he done his point. Have a look at Dave Hollis's stuff. It might get you on it. You never know.
Okay.
You should.
Yeah.
Definitely. I've got my husband on it through that. So you definitely could.
Okay.
So next, moving on, Emma's obviously, so people actually maybe don't know Emma's story because obviously some people are just new, but Emma's been really successful in the business, hasn't she? She's literally changed our life, changed your life is together completely. How did you feel when you came into the business and it was your wife being your coach? Were you coachable? Were you quite easy to work with? How did that go?
Well, you probably have to ask her that question, won't you? No, again, so as I say, I never sold my businesses to do Nu Skin. That was never the agenda behind it. It was just because again, we were traveling so much, we wanted to travel so much, we wanted to see as much of the world as possible, give the kids as much opportunity as possible and experience, and it was freeing up, it's freeing up my responsibilities. So that was the kind of reasoning behind it. And then literally only 2 weeks after, we were on a success trip in Puglia in Italy, and I was lying there, it was the last day, and it just something came to me, and I just thought I can't not do this. Again, I knew the business inside out from being with Emma. I've seen how many lives have changed, the amazing stories from some of the closest friends that we have now through this business. And I felt like if I was just kind of like still helping her on the side, I'm missing out on all the people that are in my network that could potentially, change their lives through this. And that's exactly what happened. So when I got started, obviously, first thing I was doing was, writing my contact list, speaking to everybody I knew. And I've got 2 or 3 business partners now that, have just come through that, just from that initial contact list that I wrote, that's still in the business with me today and doing really well. So and that was kind of always it for me. But in terms of being coachable, we work together. It's not it's a very different. This is a very different situation that the majority of people in Nu Skin will have. It's it's obviously quite unique how it's kind of come about, we just work together. We have fun, we enjoy it. A lot of people, a lot of friends, some even family think, how can you spend that much time like in each other's pockets? Like he'd drive me up the wall, she'd drive me up the wall. How do you spend your lives like that? And it just works for us, and we just we enjoy everything to do with it. So yeah, it's not really a case of being coached, I wouldn't say, but we just enjoy it together.
Aye, definitely. And I think I get a lot of couples during lockdown, like you're saying, a lot of people say that they've got sick of each other. Again, me and my husband's kind of a similar to yourselves. We really enjoyed it as the kids. It's the freedom it's given you, and we've had that in this last wee while. So that makes a big difference in your business, definitely.
Yeah. Definitely, and touching on the lockdown as well, the people out there, the couples out there that are the same as us, they've got to have that in the back of their mind now, thinking, wouldn't this be nice if it lasted longer? Like, it'd be great to work together, wouldn't it? They're probably starting to ask themselves that kind of question, and that's why everything has just exploded over the last few months. Business wise for us. Never been a better time than to be approaching and speaking to everybody because you just don't know that person who you think's successful or happy or whatever it may be that's on your contact list and maybe on your chicken list. You just reach out, because this has changed everything for everyone, and you don't know without asking.
No, and again, like that, I've spoke to many business owners, especially barbers, hairdressers. They actually don't want to go back to work if they're honest with themselves. They love what they do, but they don't want to go back to work. And we are having so much fun at the minute doing this. So it does give hopefully throughout this has gave everybody the taster of what this experience can make, definitely, if they keep consistent and grow it, definitely. So let me see, I think I might have last question, and I've got Anne came in my last one later on, so I'll check that one. So at the start, what was your family support like as a man coming into network marketing, coming into a hair and beauty, a health and wellness company. What was the reaction from your friends, family? How did that go down?
Yeah, I'd say family were obviously used to it anyway through Emma, so it wasn't really, maybe I wouldn't even say a shock that I was getting involved, but maybe surprised. But yeah, friends, I definitely had, they would probably call it banter. But yeah, I can imagine there was probably a few pictures, messages, things exchanged about, what the hell I was doing, maybe. But to be honest with you, again, just from my experience, looking back, I think I probably went about it the wrong way, actually, in terms of about how I looked at and put it out there, and I share this for any men or that are in the business or that you may be introduced into the business, and I kind of went in obviously with the business side and sharing the opportunity, but also sharing some of the products as well. And I think that was just a tipping point of like, what is he actually doing? If I'm kind of, maybe sharing some power lips or something like that, then looking back, I probably wouldn't do that again. Really, it's just, for me, everyone kind of like knew who I was, knew what I was in terms of from being a business owner. So it was quite, without them knowing the full picture, knowing what I know. And I think that was the thing in my head. You almost thinking, why would people not get this? Like, it's amazing, it's incredible. Like, but I have to almost like think about what I was thinking at the time, put myself in their shoes. So I would say for any men, if you're looking to bring men on board or any men on the call, then really look at your network and speak to them about the business opportunity first over the products.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. Definitely. And that's what made me reach out to you in the first place, because we are speaking to more men. And obviously you and Tom were the two that I had met. Tom says to me, Shelley, you've asked me at the wrong time. I've not had my hair cut. I can't do a video for
look
you.
At me.
Yours is all right.
I kind of learnt about leveraged income quite early. So I had a barbershop and I had everyone kind of working in there, but I've never picked up a pair of scissors in my life. So that's the reason for this going on at the minute. But I'll go down the business opportunity side of things, but also my advice would be to actually start with their network of women that they know over men, just to kind of give them a bit of confidence as well, that actually you are more likely to get a better response, I would say, initially from approaching your network of women, especially the ones that are trusted as friends or family or whoever. And then if you can introduce one or two of them and they actually start selling some products, introducing some more people, then the guy will start thinking, oh, okay, this is how we scale the business, like this is how we can, and then maybe look at, okay, which guys do I know, and then you can work into their network of ladies.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that as well, actually. Right, I'm going to say one last, because we're literally 3 minutes over, but I'm sure we'll all be all right with a couple of minutes extra.
That's
so
all right, yeah.
We've got Anne. Where did you go? There we go. So we knew your first step in the business, biggest obstacle, and then has any of your friends joined? So actually, do you mean male friends? Anne, nod your head, I can see you. Do you mean, yeah? So you had said it's mainly women you've got in your business, isn't it?
All women, yeah.
Yeah, not had any of your male friends join yet.
No, again, I had a couple initially, more kind of like more looking into the supplement side. One was a massage, so he was kind of in that field and interested in that, but never took anything any further. No.
So mainly women. So women are the ones predominantly that are business savvy and getting a network marketing. That's what it is.
It seems so, but you know, but it's actually, again, it's kind of when I was very first introduced, you know, again going back 7 years, and went to that first Ruby trip, it was, you know, it was more men than women. When I was talking, when I was kind of like speaking to people and speaking about, you know, the years that had gone by before, and you know, in terms of Emma's uplines above Catherine were all males. So you know, this turnabout and this shift in momentum has only really come about in the last 5 years, I'd say, to this level where, you know, there's obviously so many more women at the minute that are involved than men, but it's been a big shift, and there are a lot of successful men that are within Nu Skin, a lot of amazing stories. But it was, you know, maybe it's a bit of a generational switch at the minute.
I would say probably with social media as well, wouldn't it? Really, that's probably that's what's done it. Definitely, definitely. So I don't want to finish the call, but I'm going to have to, because that's another half an hour. Have you got any extra hints or tips for anybody that's just joined, anything that you can give, words of wisdom to finish off?
Just touching on what I was saying earlier, to be honest with you, let's say with nearly 7.5 years have been involved, and we've never seen growth like this ourselves. There was a spike that Emma had in 2015, which was around the whitening toothpaste, which kind of like, you know, went viral. But what's going on right now with the LumiSpa especially is, you know, far and above what we've ever seen. So talking from experience, you really need to strike while the iron's hot right now. It's you know, people are in this unique position whereby, you know, they've been in lockdown or they're still in lockdown. They've got time to actually sit and look at the opportunity, you know, actually maybe try some of the products at home, and really, you know, you can just open the doors to so many people, but you'll only do that by reaching out and contacting them. So, you know, you want to be spending as much time as possible speaking to as many people as possible, and when you find someone that's kind of ticking the boxes, and you'll know that person as soon as, you know, you connect with them, because that's the person that's asking you questions. You know, what can I do next? Okay, what's my next step? Is there any training on tonight? You know, and then they're actually actioning that and attending the online trainings, or they're the people that you really want to run with then. And that's where, you know, you want to be getting into their networks as quickly as possible, because it's right, who can you introduce me to then? Who can we have a 3-way call with? Or if you're brand new, you know, use your upline. That's what they're there for, to help you with these kind of calls. But yeah, it's exciting. It's, you know, really exciting. And I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. But you know, that's being driven by everybody, you know, that's in the field, that's, you know, that's doing this and making it happen, and just have a lot of fun with it. But you have to be, number one thing that you'll always hear from anyone is consistency. You can't do this for 1 day, 2 days, have a couple of days off, come back, you know, bits here, bits there. You're better to do 30 minutes every day than, you know, 2 or 3 hours every few days, or whatever, you know, whatever the time is. Keep it consistent, and you'll consistently see growth then over a period of time. So be excited, have fun, speak to lots of people, and achieve your goals. Make sure your goals are written down, and you'll get there.
Yeah, definitely. And get your husband on a success trip, or partner on a
and get yourself to Ruby if you've got a husband like I was.
Get yourself, that's it. Or Lapis now, it's not even Ruby anymore, it's Lapis. So it's,
I know. Oh yeah,
different, isn't it? So I definitely get yourself to Lapis. Thank you so much for that.
No problem.
I think you've got, I think Matt, both our internets are unstable, so we've got a bit of a delay going on.
Okay, no worries.
But thank you so much, Alex. I really appreciate that. Thanks very much. Everybody's writing in the chat how much they enjoyed the training. So again, thank you again. Really appreciate that.
Good luck to everyone.
Thank you.
Hopefully see you sometime soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you.